So the Augustan period really starts with the assassination of Julius Caesar, and the reason that they assassinated him was due to him starting a large civil war, killing off a lot of the aristocrats and senators, and the senators that he didn't kill, he offered mercy to, which was seen as dishonorable towards the people who weren't killed off. So, and a lot of the aristocrats really thought that he was going to limit their power and take away their wealth, which would have limited the way they could move around in society at the time. So once Julius Caesar was assassinated, Augustus took over. And during his rule, and a few of the emperors after him, their rule, the Augustan period of art really kind of flourished. And so during the Augustan period, a lot of art and a lot of literature as well had to have a piece about how good the emperor is and praises. So a lot of poets you'll find is there's a lot of praise towards the emperor, and it'll also state that it is Emperor Augustus. So like in Ovid's Metamorphosis, which is a series of poems, near the end of the poem he praises the emperor and states that this is in fact Emperor Augustus, the first emperor. And he compares Augustus with Jupiter, which is the god of gods, or Zeus in Greek mythology. And so he fully connects the two together. But at the same time, he kind of backhandedly makes fun of him in a sort of like dic- in a sort of like almost rebellion against him because he wasn't a fan of the dictatorship. So he'll put stories of Jupiter being outsmarted, Jupiter being, tricked and deceived and outwitted. And so a lot of the stories, though, are about how Jupiter's rule is so strong, but he is still almost a man. So two of the pieces that came out of this that I've done are the great cameo of France and the Gemma Augustia. And so the Great Cameo of France was created either 23 AD or 50 to 54 AD, and it's three tiers of 24 figures, the first row being deceased or deified members of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. So we have Divus Augustus, Drusus the Younger, and Drusus the Elder on the Pegasus. Now, in the second row, it's living members, and that includes Tiberius, Tiberius's mother Livia, which is Augustus's wife, Germanicus and Agrippina the Elder, which is Germanicus's wife. We have their child Nero, with Providentia, or the personification or god of foresight, and in the far back we have Claudius and Agrippina the Younger, which is his wife. And at the bottom we have captive barbarians. So it's debated as to whether or not this is a celebration of Agrippina the Younger and Claudius's marriage and Nero's coming to power, or Tiberius's adoption of Germanicus's son as his grandchildren, which is where the two dates come into play. So the earlier of the two is Tiberius's adoption, and the older of the two is Nero's coming to power. So this piece kind of shows that they're divinely, meant to rule, because Nero is seen standing next to the personification of foresight, or a goddess, and some of the the deceased Drusus the Elder is seen riding a Pegasus, and no normal man is really ever seen riding a Pegasus. So these two kind of mythological creatures kind of add to the importance of this family, as well as the barbarians showing like the land that they've captured over time and the expansion of the Roman Empire. And so the second piece is the Gemma Augustia, which was created around about 10 to 20 AD and depicts 20 figures on two tiers, and was actually commissioned by Caesar Augustus himself. and he is seen sitting on the throne in the right area, being crowned with a corona civica, which is a crown made of oak leaves that symbolizes that he saved someone. Now, he's being crowned by Oikumen, or Oikumin, which is the personification of the inhabited world. So that in itself can represent that Augustus is saving pretty much all of the inhabited world, which to them is a lot of the Roman Empire. Additionally, he's seen next to Neptune and Italia and her children, the four seasons, or the seasons themselves. Under Augustus, there is you can see an eagle, which symbolizes Jupiter, and above him is his chosen constellation Capricorn. He wasn't actually a Capricorn, but he chose that as his symbol. Now, next now near the left side is Roma, which is which is actually depicting or based off of Livia, which is Augustus's wife. And in the bottom, it shows the erection of a tropaeon, or a tropaeon, um, with two Germanic prisoners at the bottom of it. And so the bottom is kind of more debated and more ambiguous. So some of the figures can be seen as gods or places personified, or they could just be seen as soldiers and regular, like, anonymous people. So some speculate that the man in the cape erecting the tropaeon is Mars or Ares in Greek mythology, and some say that the man in the right side with the brimmed hat is Mercury or Hermes in Greek mythology. So either way, having this many mythological characters as well as like high ranking mythological characters kind of shows the importance of this family and Augustus himself. And additionally, with the eagle, tying him as Jupiter, as god of the gods, kind of gives him this divine right, as well as portraying his wife as well as this mythological character, kind of cements that they are important, that they're divinely so. They're basically depicting themselves as gods among men. And in the bottom, having these mythological gods, having these gods help them with their trophies of war and depicting them, helping them, kind of also further cements that they are divinely right. And so, like, their rule is, it's kind of like a propaganda piece where their rule is divinely right and it's meant to happen. And so it's kind of like whether or not they actually were is kind of irrelevant because they are touched by the gods. There is no question about it.